A blind woman returned home and called out for her husband. There was no reply. What she didn't realize was that his body was already lying in the kitchen, and in the center of the living room, a killer stood silently, watching her walk into the bathroom. She had no idea danger was near. Casually removed her diamond necklace. The killer, unsure whether she could actually see, used a knife to nudge a towel across the counter. She picked it up without noticing anything wrong. Now, the killer was certain she was completely blind. She cradled her pet cat and walked into the kitchen to feed it. As she moved, she slipped on something wet. Kneeling down, she touched the liquid to find out what it was. Her hands reached the lifeless body of her husband and the blade that had killed him. In that instant, she understood the horror of what had happened. She tried to escape, but the killer grabbed her. Standing helpless in the living room, she could only react as he threw random objects at the floor to toy with her. She fled into a room, pulled out her computer, and used voice commands to send an email calling for help. Just then, the killer shattered a window and overpowered her. He tied her to the bed, wiped blood from her leg in a disturbing way, and threatened her with a knife. At that moment, his phone rang. It was clearly his accomplice. Annoyed, the killer walked away to take the call, giving the woman a brief window. She grabbed a camera from the floor and hid it behind her back. When the killer returned and demanded to know where her husband had hidden the money, she struck him with the camera and made a run for it. But unable to see, she fell hard. The loud crash drew a nearby security guard. She begged him to call the police, but he ignored her warning and was immediately killed by the approaching killer. She ran into the street and cried for help. A man noticed and offered assistance. The killer, seeing she had help, stopped. The man escorted her to an apartment building. But when the killer also walked inside, she realized too late they were working together. They dragged her to the rooftop and again demanded the money. She had no idea where it was. Then, one of them noticed a painting. Slicing it open, they found it stuffed with cash. They warned her not to call the police. Hours later, a familiar smell returned. They were back.